Perfect. Hey, everyone. I was here and then I'm gone. So what's up, people? Starting the workout, I had just one little button I didn't know I needed to push to go live on YouTube. So we are all learning here, first round. So here we go, guys, in the gym dio. I'm still trying to figure out what to call this, but gym studio here. And I'm going to talk about, we're going to go through a full body workout. I'm going to go through the movements that I think everybody needs to do at least once a week. No matter what your fitness goals are, you need to do them at least once a week. So we're just going to go over that real quick. And then the other thing we're going to go over is a bit about hydration, because when I talk about fitness and personal training, like I only have one way to do things, and it is to build a system, a whole health wellness system. So I'm going to give you two big puzzle pieces to a overall health and wellness system that we can get you started on. So go through this workout, have this chat with me. If this is elementary information for you, let's build you out a custom system. If this is brand new information for you, well, I already have step one built out for you in the Smith Fit Club, so we can get you started tonight and get you ready to do a workout like this easy and simply. So first, I'm going to slow down because I've already talked too fast, I can tell. We're going to start with some warm up here, and we're going to talk about hydration. So in the mornings, no matter when my workout is going to be, I'm going to have water as soon as I can, and I'm going to have some type of electrolyte in the morning and try to get that all in before I start my coffee routine. So that's going to just really, when you breathe, you lose water all night, put it right back in, things flush, things keep moving. It's great. I don't think anybody really has any arguments about you should hydrate yourself properly, but the way to do it is where people can defer. So we'll come back to that. And if you have specific questions about hydration products, either stuff you can go to the grocery store and get, you can buy in vending machines, or things you want to order offline, higher quality products, part of my chemical engineering background, I can help you decipher which one's best for your specific needs. So we can start that conversation too. If you're leaving any comments, I don't really see them, so we can chat later. So I appreciate it. I'll give you a couple more likes here on Instagram, right? So let's get started with the movement part. This is a TRX suspension system. It is my favorite because I can really get into stretches a little bit deeper. But the first movement here is going to be a lunge. I do some type of lunge pretty much every workout. Even the upper body, I will do a split stance to do different upper body movements. So I think it's a staple thing. It's going to stay in my workouts all the time. So some type of lunge. I'm going to start here with a good hip flexor stretch and pushing forward with my hips, keeping my shoulders upright. Bring this arm up as high as I can. If you're real advanced, your elbow will actually be behind your ear when you come through this. And I'm going to hold it here for about 2 minutes. Okay. The reason why we go 2 minutes is there's a lot of reasons why. That is emotions. We're going to go to this because, like I said, this is a wellness system. I only know how to build systems. I'm going to give you some puzzle pieces, but I'll show you where this puzzle pieces attach into the overall wellness program. All right. So we're going to we hold stuff for 2 minutes, especially the high piece. I don't hold every stretch for 2 minutes, but I feel like the hip flexors right now for me, something I do need to hold for at least 2 minutes. My calves last week, something I needed to hold on for 2 minutes because we were painting several rooms in the house, so up and down step ladders. I got a good calf workout in. So that's what I'm at today. We hold it for 2 minutes because emotions last for 2 minutes. Emotions do get trapped in your body, especially the fascia system. Okay. So if you hold a stretch for 90 seconds, you get through that initial emotion. Okay. And then now you have to focus on that spot. And if you're somebody who is understretched or don't stretch a lot, if you really focus in on this, just pick a body part, do it on both sides, but pick a body part, hold it for 90 seconds and then let that, you'll actually feel everything kind of relax and release and give way. And then you'll get a deeper stretch after that because that's how long the emotion lasts. Now, after that 90 seconds, it's really up to you to focus in on it and help building from that, teaching the muscle it's safe, it's okay to relax. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that, like I said, systems in place that keep our bodies doing things that we don't want them to do. Learning this technique in one area of your body and then applying it to all the other muscles is a huge advantage, big secret here. But that's why, a 90-second minimum for a stat to hold for areas that are really tense and focusing on that, releasing it, And then doing that extra 30 seconds of work, that strengthens your mind too, because the only way to get better at doing hard things is to do hard things. All right. Oh, that sounds crazy. So I do those first. Let me talk about this stretch, because from the lunge, I also do a lean. Okay. Mainly because right here is actually part of where your shoulder attaches to your back and kind of your rib cage. So if you can imagine, there's a lot of like things intersecting in one spot, and sometimes they get stuck. So adding a side bend like this, especially to a lunge that you're already doing, is going to help unstick that spot. All right. And that's going to help with a lot of neck, shoulder problems, upper back problems. You have any things there, twisting motions that are difficult for you, that's going to help you in that department too. All right. So back on hydration. Just as a rule for me, I do not like to drink anything that has a calorie that's not going to help me, right? So I will drink protein smoothies because the fruits and the protein in it and the other stuff tastes good. But there's a lot of good stuff in there that has benefits my body, and I'm basically taking food and blending it up. So it's not really a drink, okay? So anything that has sugar in it that doesn't benefit me, I just don't consume it, okay? I don't want to say ever. Maybe 20 times a year, I'll have a drink that just pure sugar. It does nothing for me, and just have it. All right. So that's just something I've developed into. I will drink the sugar version before I would ever touch a diet drink. And I think that's pretty good rules to follow. But if I'm going to have candy or sugar or sweet stuff, I'm going to want to eat it, right? Because I want to savor it and I want to enjoy it. I don't want to just slurp it through a straw and it's over in a few seconds. So that's just, for me, helps me stay in check, but still keeps everything in perspective. Just have some guide rails around how I drink and what I drink, so I can enjoy things, but I'm not gaining weight because I just mindlessly slurp on things that have, hundreds of calories per cup in them. So and sugars, right? So that does a lot more. Calories itself isn't the problem. It's what makes up those calories that is a problem. Okay. So my next stretch, we did some side bendings, and we got to do some lateral movement. I'm going to do this without the TRX. We got to do some lateral movement here. All right. And this is just, oh, you can tell I'm stiff. All right. This basic side stretch. I'm going to do toe up here, straight through the knee, hamstring. This is going to get another sticky spot where a lot of things intersect. That's going to stretch through the hamstring a lot. I'm getting a lot of low back here because I'm actually actively dropping this hip as we're stretching, and I'm getting all the way through the back of my knee. That feels great. All right, I'm going to go back to the other side here. Okay, so toe up. This is a very specific position. I do this on purpose. Toe up, hamstring in a lateral movement here. We don't really get this area stretched a lot in our everyday movement. We move forward all the time. We push and we walk forward all the time. So programming that into a workout, it's kind of pre-programmed just by living. So you really want to make sure you're doing the stuff you don't do on a regular basis and moving in those directions. Next, it's basically the same thing, but I'm going to keep my pinky toe down. So I might need to bring my stride in a little closer. I'm going to keep my pinky toe down. All right. Anybody that has plantar fasciitis, or anybody that runs, cuts, changes directions in any type of sport, whether amateur, youth, whatever, this is a huge one. This is ankle mobility here. So I can keep my foot flat. I can keep my pinky toe down, and I can get completely horizontal here. Okay. That's ankle mobility. Here on this side, same thing. All right, plantar fasciitis. I'm going to hit that one up because this will help plantar fasciitis a lot. So if you can't do this and you have foot pain, you have plantar fasciitis, I have a program, like I said. If some of this stuff seems difficult or difficult for you to do, I have step 1 already made for you in the Smith Fit Club. I'm going to put all that information on how you can join the Smith Fit Club in the show notes or in the comment section, just depending on which platform you're on, wherever that first place your eyeballs go to look for more information. I'll make sure I have that there for you. Okay. All right. I'm going to do this one. This is kind of an advanced move, but it's super fun. And it hits an area that's really tough to get. So it's going to be this outside part of my hip. I'm going to start in this same position here, but I'm going to twist. Okay. So it's like I'm going to point both toes in the same direction. So I'm going to real deep lunge, but then I'm going to turn one more time and I'm going to drop this back hip to the ground here. Okay. On the next round, I'll face the camera better. Okay. But this is getting a huge stretch. And that's a really tough area to stretch. Okay. I don't know too many people who are doing that motion in the everyday life here. All right. So I will. That was the same leg again. That's okay. Ooh, I got my back to pop. Ooh, I got my back to pop. That was awesome. Ooh, we're going to appreciate that for a second. So my hips are uneven like most people, and I'll tell you why. Because you drive, and most people drive with their left leg bent and the right leg straight. So that's going to tilt the right hip forward. Check it. Probably, if you're a driver, that's probably what's happening. So you'll find that one hip releases back stress. So when I did the other hip, I was getting my back to pop because that's the hip that's hiked up a little bit. Okay, it's my left hip. This right hip, I have plenty of space. I can feel it. I'm not going to get any back pops on this side because this is the hip that's tilted forward a little bit. So there's a fun fact for you. I just splashed my drink in my face. I don't know if y'all could see that. I don't know how to play that off. That was right in my eyeball. Contacts are in. All right. That's enough. All right, let's get into some movement. So that's some basic hip stuff that I do. It opens up the hips, and a lot of things get caught in the hips and then the sides here in those sticky spots. So if you can release some of those like major intersections where a lot of big muscles are interacting that we want them to do really good movements for us, you hit those spots in the warm up, you can get through things. That took me a little bit longer, of course, as we're talking. All right, but we're going to go to our next movement. I like staying in the hips because all major muscles go through the hips. Okay, so all the big muscles in our body are connected to the hips. Okay, or somehow anchored by the hips. I would say scapula muscles are anchored by the spine, which is core, which is again hips. Okay, so hip hinge is one of the most important movements you need to learn how to do. Okay, so when you hinge from your hips, you got to know where to fold. I think everybody thinks, oh, I'm going to bend forward. Think of, oh, you're going to hurt your back. But then we also think about bending through our back. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So when I think people bend, they think that they bend from back here. Okay. So if somebody says, oh, I can't touch my toes, I know why you can't touch your toes. You're not bending from the right spot. So if they bend from their back here, okay, this is what it looks like. I'm bending from my back. I have a whole hinge right here. You see this? This is the hinge. All right. So when I bend from the front, now I'm okay with pushing my hips back. I can probably keep my knees locked a little bit more than most because I do this all the time. But if I bend from the bottom part of my hip right here, look at that. Touch my toes all day long. Okay. So you know how to touch your toes. You just don't know how to bend. All right. So there's a simple trick there. So I like to warm that up with a kettlebell. Now, if my hips go back slightly, that's perfectly fine. Okay, get my shoulders back, rolled down. Ooh, got a good neck pop right there. This is a good position. All right, pushing my hips back, coming straight down. That is my favorite. Now, I'm not going to go through a full set reps that I can normally would on a workout. We're basically doing a check. Do you know how to do this? Can you do this properly? Have you ever been told how to do this properly? Have you even been told how to do this? All right. So, and programming. Do you have this in your workout at least once a week? Okay. Oh, I'm doing one more here. That feels good. This still feels like a stretch for me. Perfect. Okay. So that's a hip hinge movement. All right. Anything about hydration? Let's talk about, I don't know, caffeine energy drinks, because I feel like that comes up a lot. There's a different way to get the energy. So if you're reliant on energy drinks, then I feel like you need to hydrate more, because the caffeine is going to take some of your hydration out of you. Okay. It's going to dehydrate you slightly, especially if you're drinking energy drinks that have a creatine in it. Love that. I'm for it, but make sure you're drinking your water with it. Okay. We don't want to have kidney stones because of energy stuff. And of course, if we're somebody who's reliant on energy drinks, this is a wellness system. There's probably some other thing off in your system that's forcing you to put a Band-Aid with an energy drink. So again, if that's somebody that kind of rings a bell, if that feels like you, our first step in the Smith Fit Club, when we talk about our hydration strategy, it's actually a full nutrition program. I call it the high nutrition framework. It is hydration, inflammation reduction, and intermittent fasting. So when you combine those three methods and you learn how to apply them and you learn how to make decisions, everyday decisions based on those three boundaries, those guardrails, then you're going to just hyperdrive any of your health goals. You're probably going to eliminate anything that may be causing you some pain. You will eliminate almost, I would say this program is designed to get people off of over-the-counter medications. So if you're someone who has to take an over-the-counter medication on at least 4 days a week, and you've been doing that for more than 2 weeks, then we need to get you off of that. And the high nutrition framework is the step one. Like I said, you want to build a whole health system. That nutrition framework there is step one, how to get that you going in the right spot. And also movement. Okay. So if we've already gone through some advanced movements, if you're still with me here for these things you think you can do, great. If you want to maybe learn how to do these things better, then again, step one of the Smith Fit Club walks you through these basic movement patterns, how to do them for beginners, how to build up to a higher level, and to get where this is your warm up, not your workout. Okay. All right. So I'm doing some overhead presses. I feel like everybody needs to put weight over their head at least once a week, at least once a week. I do it every workout. This is your anti-gravity workout. My spine is having to work real hard right here to fight gravity at a higher level more than it's used to. So it makes this a lot easier if my back is straight and everything's stacked. Okay. So I go pretty heavy. I feel like, not to be overly strong or overly muscle. I don't like a lot of like goals and stuff, but I feel like you need to be able to put 40 pounds over your head pretty comfortably at some point, like being able to pull up. I just think survival, I just think it's really good for you. Okay. Again, it also addresses the back. So if you're worried about back pain or you're a tall person, you're probably more likely to have some back pain. Or if you're carrying some extra weight and you're creating back pain, whatever it is, this is a great way to start. Putting weight over your head. All right. And again, I'm going to try to get my elbows slightly behind my ears without poking my head forward. Okay. Good posture here. See, my hips have to stabilize. My feet have to stabilize. I have to just kind of balance my knees, because if I have my knees shifted, it makes this whole thing hard. Okay. And then from here, I'm not really going to focus on the pressing. I'm actually going to do shoulder circles. Okay. Because this movement allows you to grow those awesome biceps and triceps that everybody wants. Okay. But if your shoulders don't know how to move, you're not going to activate the right muscles. So going over my head and doing some shoulder movements, I get a ton of neck pops. I get a lot of releases in my upper back. And just for funsies, guys typically carry stress up in their upper back and shoulder. So this is great for you men. And ladies, we typically have the stress in our hips. So spend some extra time on those initial hip warm-ups that I showed you. And that's where your stress is going to be found. All right. Some other things that I do from here. This is some core training. Okay. So I do a lot of deep core work. So vacuums, things like that help me get here so I can stabilize this. Now I'm going to do some punches. Okay. Here. All right. So I'm going to stretch my side. Okay. You want to talk about oblique work? The control to be able to do this. Oh my gosh. Your back is going to love you once you build up to this. Now, if this is not something you can do today, again, it's something I will teach you how to do. Step one, Smith Fit Club. We can actually start learning how to do that tonight. All right. I'll show you all the contact information in the show notes, comments. You can shoot me a message, contact us. We'll make sure we get the information to you, but that will be available once the show ends here. Okay. We got last two things here. Just making sure we're on track. All right. Twisting. Okay. We've done side movements. We've done overhead movements. Now we're going to do some twisting, and we're going to end it with core. Now my core is always engaged in all of my workouts and everything I do, because I've gone through the deep core work. that I can walk you through in Smith Fit Club. And I do it, it's a religious practice for me. I do it constantly for deep core work. So I can show you how to do that, how to start doing it, how to incorporate it while you're doing the dishes, while you're driving your car, deep core work all the time. And that's where you get the real tight stomachs where all sides come in, is when you do those things. So I can walk you through that, Smith Fit Club. All right, this is rotation. This is probably my favorite. Lost the microphone. All right. This is one of my favorites. Pretty simple to do, and we can modify it for almost anybody. So it's laying flat on your back. All right, you can do T arms out here to stabilize yourself more. You can bring them in here to make it more difficult. So whatever works for you. All right, I would start bringing the knees over the hips and just rotating to the side. If you can let your knees not hit the ground, that would be best. Okay, but we're doing some good twists. Now, if this is difficult for you to do, just drop your knees down and lay it there. Now you got your 2-minute rule. Okay, we're going to hold this for 2 minutes. Okay, and then we'll switch to the other side and we'll hold that for 2 minutes. Okay, all right, this could also be some great core work. So if you are pretty advanced in the core, I mean, let's straighten it out. Let's go. And you can also hold weight in your hands. So stabilize yourself up there. It's hard to do without weight in your hands. Woo, back's popping. All right, I need my arms out here. Okay, rotate through. So twisting motions, not something that we do on a regular basis. And if we do, we're probably twist to one side more than the other. Okay, so adding rotation into what you do on a weekly basis, got to do. All right, last thing, we'll stay in this position and we'll do some planks. Not planks. I was going back and forth which one to do. So we're going to do some bridges. So the bridge again is going to ask me to really engage my core. So I'm going to suck I'll walk you through it more in Smith Fit Club once you get to that, step 1. But really you're taking your belly button and you're drawing it back towards your spine as far as you can, as deep as you can, for as long as you can. All right. So when I do a bridge, I can do it really 2 different ways. We'll go here. Feet flat. I push. Okay. You should feel your backside burning right through here. If you feel it in your quads, your hips aren't high enough. Okay. If you feel it in your hamstrings, then you may not be activating your glutes. So you want to hold this until you can feel that both sides, both glutes are working, that you're feeling it in your glutes. Okay. If you're struggling there, you don't feel it in your glutes, or if you know you have weaker hamstrings and you want to build this up, you can go to a toe up position and hold. So I'm sucking down here, pulling up. Just some bridges there. Now, if you never really felt your glutes turned on, then you want to do some single leg pumps. Learn how to do these. All right, and do even number on both sides. That was about 6, I think. Perfect. Even number on both sides if you don't feel those glutes activate. So that is full body. We're getting all of our motions. I know it wasn't completely strenuous because I really design workouts that make you feel better when you're done. So me personally, this is a workout I'll probably do. Actually, I probably do something like this every day. Every time I work out, I'll just mix different workouts in before I go to the floor work there and do the twisting and the kind of the ab work. I would mix in some more like intense stuff. So depending on what I felt like doing that day, if I needed to eat, I'm doing bar work, right? So if I want to pull bar, I want to move fast, I'm doing bar work, I'm doing something explosive. And some days I just need to stretch and then stay in this type of routine, but maybe extend it out for a 30-minute time period. So that's full body workout. Talked a little bit about hydration. If this was easy for you and you want to keep building on this, I would say this is kind of a mid-grade level for me. We can ramp it up from here and I can show you how to build out your systems even further so you can have a really great way to make decisions about your health and to make improvements. So we can chat there. Again, comments or the information is going to be in the show notes or comments, whatever social media platform you were on. That first place your eyeball goes to find information, that'll be there for you. And let's see. And second, if hydration, if that's not something that's easy for you, or you want to go deeper into that, or you're just really curious about how you can stop taking over-the-counter medications completely, then our high framework method, a part of Smith Fit Club, will teach you how to do that. So let us know how we can help. We're here to do both. And you guys, let me know in the comments how I did, or let me know how you did, guys. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you next time. Whew.